And Pix 11 is your local election headquarters. The Democratic primary for New York City mayor is just weeks away, and we are continuing round two now of our conversations with the candidates. Today, we're speaking with someone who is hoping to make history as the city's first Latina and first female mayor, New York's very own Dianne Morales. She joins me now live. Good morning to you, Ms. Morales. Thank you for being here.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
So, Ms. Morales, I want to begin with the news coming out this morning that one of your competitors, a former intern, also of controller and mayoral candidate Scott Stringer, are accusing him now of sexual abuse during his run for public advocate 20 years ago. What is your reaction to that news this morning?
Well, it's a really unfortunate moment in this race. No one on my team was happy when we heard the news, and as a survivor myself, who's got a femme-led team, many of whom are also survivors, we've all been triggered and really have spent the time since hearing the news checking in on each other. I think I'm still really processing. I'm not focused on Scott Stringer. I'm really focused on what this woman has to endure and the bravery that she's exhibiting in this moment. I've been consistent about our need to believe survivors, but I'm also, sitting with the amount of work that still needs to be done as far as understanding the culture that we've all inherited that
Right.
falls short of respecting women. And, we need to continue to, as far as I'm concerned, and my race and my campaign, I will continue to focus on our values.
Yeah. And we are going to hear from her later today. Would you go as far as saying that Scott Stringer should drop out of the race?
As I said, my focus right now is really not on Scott Stringer. I think, the courage and what this person has to endure is kind of where we need to focus our attentions and energies.
Absolutely. And I want to focus on you as well, because I am having this conversation with you right as we head into the final 2 months before the big primary day. You are pushing, Ms. Morales, for this complete overhaul of New York City with your 100 Days of Dignity Now platform, this focus now on racial, economic, ethnic inequality in New York City. I want you to just explain for our viewers a little bit more about that.
Sure. I think, when I jumped into this race a year and a half ago, it was because of my decades of experience on the ground in the communities, helping people to access opportunity, both academically and economically. And I think that the pandemic in the last 14 months have really exposed how deeply rooted some of the structural and systemic barriers are. We've seen the inequities deepen and widen. And so, I think it's critical for us to seize this moment, this crossroads in our history, and make a moral and political commitment to transform all of the things that made this moment possible, all of the harm and the damage that's been done. And that means essentially upending a lot of the systems that have contributed and perpetuated to these inequities. And I'm committed to actually confronting those things, because I think we have the opportunity in this moment to become a new New York City that actually lives up to the rhetoric.
And I think a lot of what you speak to also goes to your plan surrounding NYCHA, right? I read a little bit about this and some of the inequities that exist within NYCHA housing. You lived in NYCHA growing up, right? You disagree with plans to improve city housing through private partnerships. So how then would you secure the billions of dollars needed to improve this system that we pay close attention to here at Pix 11? Our Monica Morales is out there each and every single day.
Yes, I'm grateful for that. So just to correct the record, I didn't live in NYCHA. My parents lived in NYCHA. By the time I came around, they had actually been able to secure a home outside of NYCHA. That being said, for decades, we have divested from NYCHA, which is essentially the largest public housing system in the country, and really a potential model for social housing. So, when I talk about not privatizing NYCHA, I mean, public housing needs to stay public. I also believe in the idea of us democratizing NYCHA and giving residents increasing control and power. So I've committed to investing at least $1.5 billion in my first year, to pursuing matching funds from the state level. And I think that, we've got some opportunities here with the newly the federal recovery plan and dollars that we really should be investing in NYCHA and the residents. And the signature sort of proposal for me in the first year would be the idea of establishing a resident owned and operated management company in each borough that could serve as a model for what we could do citywide.
Understood. You know, a big topic of conversation, not only this past week because of what we've seen with gun violence, but over the course of the past year has been a rise in crime. Over the weekend, though, there were more than 24 shootings in New York. More than 50 people were shot just last week alone. So if you were elected mayor, what is your plan to help curtail some of the violence that we are seeing on the streets?
Sure. You know, I think we really can't decouple the violence that we're seeing right now from the dramatic increase in insecurity that New Yorkers have faced over the last 14 months. You know, we're talking about people who have had increased housing insecurity, increased food insecurity, no access to universal health care in the middle of a pandemic. So we really need to actually address those issues I believe, in order to begin to address the safety issues. We can't decouple those things. There's a link and a correlation between the rise in violence and the rise in inhumane living conditions for people in the city. Our city has not prioritized taking care of people. And so we need to actually focus on providing secure housing, making sure everyone has access to enough economic stability to put food on the table, and giving health care and mental health care to our residents, and in order to really address the safety issue.
We're almost out of time here, and I want to give equal time to all candidates. You've referred to taking money away from the NYPD as well as decreasing some of their power as well. Briefly, where would that money go?
Well, the first thing I've called for is the creation of a community first responders department. We know that a significant percentage of the calls that the police respond to are not, in fact, crimes in progress. We also know that the police don't prevent crime, they respond to crime. Community first responders department would be staffed with people who are trained and skilled at intervention and de-escalation and connected to a larger ecosystem of service providers and medical providers and mental health providers, so that we could actually break the cycle.
Understood. Diane Morales, thank you very much. I understand also that you're hosting a number of block parties as well. So for people just to get to know you just a tad, right? What is Diane Morales playing at a block party music-wise?
We got a little Empire State of Mind by Jay-Z. We've also got some salsa by El Gran Combo and Mark Anthony. So come on out and join us and get to know me and my platform, and looking forward to seeing folks out there in the community.
You, your platform, and your playlist. Thank you, Diane Morales. Thank you for being here this morning. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Take care. It's great to be here.